Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
Sphere Exclusives. Looking for exclusive content from your favorite podcasts here at the Sphere? Head over to sphere.tv/Patreon and sign up today. True Digital Media Consulting. You're online right now and so are your customers, but marketing has to be a consistent journey. True Digital Media Consulting can help with your online ads, organic growth, and so much more. Contact us today at 832-934-4436 or visit our website at truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Lady Ari Natural Hair Care. Lady Ari Natural Hair Care has been a prime destination for catering to naturally kinky hair in Houston, Texas. Give the experts a call today at area code 832-265-3792 or book online at ladyari.com.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another amazing edition of Society Now. I am your host, or one of your hosts, Kira Laws, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Modern Day Cindy. That's Cindy with an I, not a Y. And we're bringing you some real news, real talk, all about, things that are not exaggerated, over the top facts, but things that are affect us, our society, things that we can talk about around the dinner table, around the, the water cooler at the workplace, and with your homeboys, your homegirls, whatever. And to my left, my far left today, I have my handsome co-host with me.
What's going on? It's your man, Kalen Laws, a.k.a. Senor Wapo. Do me a quick favor. Go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to Facebook. You can even go to Snapchat and follow me. That's at Senor Wapo 713. That's SENORGUAPO 713. Holla at your boy again.
Wait, did you say Snapchat?
I did say.
Is that relevant for you?
It's not, but
okay.
I could always use more followers though.
Okay.
Listen, in the influencer game, on all platforms,
followers.
You can use more followers. So follow me.
Enough
follow
followers.
Me.
Do we have them?
Listen, I'm trying to get enough. Shout out to Vincent and Ebony Powell. Inside joke. And listen, you are tuned into Society Now. We are super, super excited that you are here, that you're listening, that you're watching again. What episode are we on? 91?
We're on 90.
90. We got
we're
10 more.
For 100.
Then we're going to toast to the people. I don't know what we're going to toast, though. We're going to toast some good old sparkling water or something.
Some sparkling grape juice.
Grape juice. There it is.
Hashtag, they better pay us for that.
Right. Absolutely. Hashtag, I'm pulling the labels off.
I'm pulling the labels off.
You ain't looking at no free advertising. Listen, you know what we do. We love to have a good time talking real facts, talking real news, having curated conversations that apply to us as minorities, specifically as black people, persons of color, POCs, whatever, the politically correct term that you have to say now, or else you'll get killed in the media. But today is a special day. Shout out to Paul Davis, one of my good colleagues at KTSU Radio, KTSU FM on the campus of Texas Southern University. He put me in contact with this family. I'm telling you. So where do we live?
I mean, we live, I don't know.
What country we live in?
Oh, America.
We live in the U.S.
Subdivision? What neighborhood?
Yeah, we live in the U.S. of A, right? And there's a sordid history behind this land of the free and home of the brave, so they say, these now divided states of America, right? Mm-hmm. Like crazy divided. There's a past that's bloody, as all countries have, right? There's a past that's gory. There's some great and phenomenal elements to it as well. But I think that past needs to be addressed. And I'm going to just be frank, and some people that are going to hear this and watch this are going to be mad at this statement. But guess what? I do not care. Sometimes we as black folks, we monopolize the pain and the conversation.
I mean, and I guess because we, you know, I think we are, I mean, and to respect everyone, I think it's because we are the ones that look most different from everyone
Agreed,
else.
yeah,
So it's easy for us to feel like we are being treated differently.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We
Right,
are
right,
mostly, we look, you know, feature wise, we look most different.
And I would agree with that, but you know, sometimes, especially when I began teaching political science and government on the collegiate level, and I started looking, you know, you can't teach government without talking history, right? And I was teaching U.S. government, so part of U.S. government was U.S. history. And so I'm going down these things, and I've gone to graduate school and studied politics and all of this and political theory and having to brush up on the history part of it. And I'm like, yo, not only are we as black folks not depicted as we should be in the history books, but there's another group, a group that, quite frankly, I'm very connected to because I was born in Oklahoma City, and so if that's not a clue, then I'm talking about the Native Americans, right, the indigenous people, and we're going to talk to a family specifically. Oh my gosh! Please give me the last name. The Chachere. The Chachere.
Now,
I like that. I messed
you
it up when
know,
I said it to you.
I feel now. I'm not. I
I did.
can't
I
make
messed
it.
it
I
up.
don't know. No. I just
The Chachere family. I love that.
Chachere.
We're talking to the Chachere family,
I think
and
it's
this, and Ahsaki specifically is the leader, the progenitor, the creator, the founder of the indigenous peoples movement. And I guarantee you know what I'm talking about. We're gonna jump into that real soon. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming and accepting this call. Dennis, what's good, man? How are you?
How's it going? Everything's good.
Great.
Appreciate you having us.
Thank you for coming to hang out with us, man.
Yes, sir.
Look, I just want to dive in. Okay, so first of all, where do I enter? So tell us about the movement first of all. How did it get started? The what, the when, the why, all of those things. Just go for what you know.
Okay, so pretty much it has to be done. How
Facts.
long do we have to wait for our voices, for us to unite? So it's not just me, it's a group of us who came together, had the same vision, and you know what? Our people need us. We need to find a way to have us unite as one. And not just the Native Americans, but, you know, the black folks, us. Because I can say that I'm half Native American, I'm half black. And all indigenous people. When I say all indigenous people, I'm not just saying just the Native Americans here, but, you know, the Latins.
Right.
You know, all of us.
Right.
From all over the world. So we all have the same issues. We all feel the same pain. And unfortunately, we all have the same enemy.
Yeah.
And
Wait. She said something powerful. I don't know if you heard that, Kira. She said we all have the same enemy. Oh, we finna have fun today. We're gonna have some fun. Talk to me some more, Ahsaki, please. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I like that line.
I'm just gonna be very blunt about it.
Please.
You know, because it's our history. Our history, like you said, is not very pretty. However, our history is not. It didn't start from what it says in the history books.
Thanks.
You know, we were kings and queens, and we are still kings and
Absolutely.
queens to this very day.
Absolutely.
And as an indigenous woman of this U.S. of A., you know, our history is beyond what they say that Christopher Columbus came here.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like
Syphilis Columbus.
I feel like, you know, our story, it just continues to get swept under the rug because from how we see it as a native side is that we were made to vanish. That's what they want us to do. They want us, they put us on these reservations. They tried to take us out so they can have all our land. However, we're still here. You know, all the things that they did to us, you know, did not stop us from being who we are today.
Right.
And I feel like that is us, that's our true strength. It's our culture that kept us alive. And when I say going back to the indigenous peoples movement, the movement itself, you know, it's for us to unite. And we all can fight each other's battle when we fight together. We're stronger together.
Right.
And, you know, we all go through the same thing. You know, our healthcare, legal,
education,
everything. It's like, wow, what else can we do but fight together? We cannot fight this battle by ourselves. And our ancestors did this way before. They were building empires that we still see today. We see the pyramids in Egypt. There's pyramids here in Aztecs. They're everywhere.
Absolutely.
So how were they doing this? They were communicating. They were working together. So we need to work together.
No. I mean, I agree. And when you talk about indigenous people, listen, I'm a fan of Pan-Africanism, right? I'm a fan of just learning. Period. I really in the past, I guess, a few years, 2-3 years, really started to dig into my heritage more than just a 23andMe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a great start. No, not, but that's a great start. But let's figure out, the customs and the language and the food, and really understand the culture of where it is that we came from, because it has so much, and we don't even know it. Oftentimes, it has so much relevance to us in modern day times. And so for me, I think it's super, super important to not only understand it, but do as you said, and that's unite. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We want safety, right? We want somewhere to lay our head and be at peace. We want our kids to have good education, and we want to make a little money. At the end of the day, we're all trying. I don't care if you're Republican, black, white, racist, homophobic, xenophobic. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we want the same things. We just have to figure out the commonalities about that, but also respect the cultural differences, right? So talk to us. I know you got a conference coming up, right? Talk to us about this conference. Before we talk about the conference, no. Yeah, talk to us about the conference. Let's do the conference first.
Okay, the conference will be on May 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay, it's here in Houston.
It's at the TBH Center. And we're gonna everything that we talked about at the march, what we were marching for. Okay, we're gonna go in depth. So that's the missing and murdered indigenous women that we'll talk about later on. Our climate, our Mother Earth. Colorism. Come on, colorism. We need a. That's really the first thing. That's deep. We need to knock
colorism
that out.
Is so deep amongst people of color because again we monopolize it, right? We monopolize it. Colorism exists in the Latin American community, right? Like if you go to Central America and you look at the indigenous people, right? Or if you go to India. Same thing, right? South India versus North India, it's the dark, in terms of like real Indians, what the hood called red dot. You know what I'm saying? Real Indians. It's this colorism thing is so real. It's so dangerous, man. It's so dangerous. They made movies out of it. What was it? School Days, Jigaboos and Wannabes, right? The light skin one was supposed to be the pretty one, and the dark skin was supposed to be the one who was a little, whatever, not pretty, and other things. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's a great conversation. Yes, I'm glad you're talking colorism, but we as black folks, we monopolize that. We don't want to deal with it. And that's not true, man.
But we need to deal with it. We need to bring it up, and we need to come to a good balanced playing field where we all can accept and appreciate each other, and no, not one color is better than the other color, right? Because I'm saying this because I am, again, Native American and I'm black, right? I grew up on my reservation. I can read, write, and speak my language. So growing up on my reservation, obviously I am different from my hair, from the color of my skin, and there's time where it's like, wow, I had to prove myself continuously. How Native am I? And I grew up traditionally, very traditionally. And it's like even my own people coming at me like this. So I didn't use that. I didn't let that discourage me. My mom's like, do not forget who you are. Yeah. You're a Dene woman and you're a black woman.
Say that again.
Dene.
Dene. Okay.
Yeah, that's the real name. That's our name because the federal government gave us Navajo. But our real name is Dene. Okay. The people.
That's what that means. That means the people.
So we can go back to that's another subject. Like, why did they always name everything? How are you going to name us? We already have a name.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. And again, that's just listen. Hold on. Before we go there, because I want to go there for a second. Let's talk to our listeners and our viewers, and I want to give you some exclusive content. I want to give you an opportunity to connect with that exclusive content. And this portion of the show is sponsored by the Sphere Exclusive Team. Are you looking for such exclusive content that you can't find anywhere else? Well, look no further than our Sphere exclusives found only on Patreon. We've got behind-the-scenes shots happening daily at the Sphere Podcast Studios. Each show on the podcast network curates episodes that are only delivered to Patreon subscribers. Plus, we deliver the show live from start to finish in our Discord server that's exclusive to our Patreon family. You can sign up today at www.thesphere.tv/Patreon, and you can join at our $2, $5, and $8 levels. You can get access to all the exclusive content we offer at the Sphere. Go ahead and sign up. So let's talk about that. Dene. Okay, so if you heard, if you didn't hear, Dene is the original name in the is the you call dialect language. What is the
That's our language.
Okay, the language, right? Exactly.
Language.
The federal government called the people Navajo, but they're really called the Dene. So the federal government likes to name everybody. Give them their own names.
Yeah, and they obviously they write their own history too.
Facts. Oh my, please, facts. Round of applause for that.
And unfortunately, that's still here, but we're in a new generation.
Okay.
Like I say this all the time. This is a new breed. This is a whole different generation that I know they wish they never met.
Right.
Back in the day.
Right.
Because baby, if I saw them, if it was my people at that time, and they come in and say, "Hey, you got to go here," you ain't taking me nowhere.
Exactly.
But our people, us indigenous people, at heart, we're not people that we don't see no color really. You're human, then I'm gonna help you.
Right.
So we're not like gonna take over everything. Down to borders and walls and all that. We don't believe in that.
Right.
Because we live on Mother Earth. We live
right.
with her. So, and everyone around us do the same thing. So when we found when the new people came,
the new people. I like
that.
that.
They weren't understanding, and we're over here trying to help them, and they're like, "No, we're gonna take over everything." So they took our kindness, and then they ran with it. Literally, ran with it. So now, this whole USFA, this is all I have left on my reservation. This is it. This is this little part right here.
Right.
When my people, we had the whole Southwest region.
Absolutely.
That's whole Arizona.
Absolutely. Texas,
Mexico.
Arizona, New Mexico.
Like, come on now. Colorado, Utah. And we're still fighting with them to this day. I work for my tribe. I work for the water management branch.
Okay. Yes.
So we're always fighting with Utah, the San Juan River. And there's this one moment where the settlers on the other side of the river is like, we've been here before. They have water rights. Like, really? You want to go there?
Right.
You really been here?
Right. And that's what's so interesting to me, man. Because you have that portion of the population that really feels like they have this entitlement component, as if they were born in 1955 or whatever, as if they were there first, or if their parents were there first. When I mean, it even though they write their own history, they at least acknowledge the fact that they weren't here first.
Yeah, then they swipe it over, and then they like go back.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? And then they just we weren't here first, but we had to take it over from the savages. That's kind of how they color it, right? But it's so frustrating. So tell me, let's go back for a second. Tell me what is I visited. So I'm a son of a preacher, of a Christian preacher. I'm a grandson of a Christian preacher. So they used to go we used to go to Arizona all the time to the reservation, and my granddad would go preach and all, and had these kind of big tent meetings. So I was able to experience to a degree. Right. And I had some childhood friends that I kept up with up until like college, and we just kind of lost touch. Life happens. But tell us about what it's like growing up on the reservation.
The best way I can explain it, here in Texas, you drive towards West Texas, going towards Amarillo, or better yet, we're going to Odessa. That little Highway 20.
I-20.
Okay.
Absolutely. I-20.
And you have these little small towns in between, like 45 miles in between. That's just the reservation. It's very rural. And we have schools, we have stores, we have gas stations, we have everything that we have here in the city. It's just that we're just so rural. So that's why I give that analogy of West Texas.
Right.
My closest neighbor is my family. They're like over the hill and over this other hill, and my family all live within a mile radius, which is awesome.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
And we live 7 miles from the main road. And then the closest Walmart is 3 hours away. But it's okay. You're probably like, how the heck do you survive with a Walmart set 3 hours away.
Yeah, I would
Easy.
be lost. I'd be lost.
It's tough.
It's really easy because, everything we have is right outside our front door.
Okay.
We farm, we have our cattle, and we have really everything. I mean, we have DirecTV and our internet, so I don't know what else you need.
Yeah.
In our family, and living out here in the city, it's just convenient.
So let's push forward. You mentioned that the conference, you're going to talk about the same things that you marched for in D.C., right? And so talk to us about the Indigenous Peoples March, the rally and everything, and then even the infamous case of what happened with the young men who harassed a Native person.
Okay.
So just kind of give us how did the march come about?
Okay, the march started with a vision, our group, and we just ran with it. And the vision was like, where should we do this? Where should we unite at? You know what? DC. Let's gather all the Indigenous people of the world. Let's meet up in DC. How? And we did just that. And
so how did you organize? Before you tell me how you organized it, let me talk to somebody real quick, and that's our Facebook Live family. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. But guess what? You gotta subscribe to get to the rest of the show. Now how can you do that? You can subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you can find a podcast. You can review our show across the platforms to help us build better content for you and share the entire show with your family and friends right from the Sphere Podcast Network Facebook page. And last but not least, you can support, I'll say it again, you can support our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate, and you can get exclusive content almost daily via our Patreon tiers. You can sign up there at www.thesphere.tv/Patreon. Now, let's get to it.
Alrighty.
The organize. How did you guys organize? Like Indigenous people from all over the world. What is that organizing process like?
Well, the head person, she has the most contact. I'm more behind the scenes.
Okay.
I'm finally coming in the spotlight, but I'm more behind the scenes.
Okay.
So, her name is Yanajaha, Lone Wolf, and she has great context that she's a activist.
Okay.
That truly, she's just like me. She's half Native American, half black.
Okay.
And she did work for many, many years, so she was able to connect with so many people. And then with that, I come along, and then I just do all the hard part, the permitting.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I already knew if we're going into DC, they really don't probably want us there, but we're coming. It took since October a few months for us to prepare, but it's just that the mission of why are we marching? Oh, our homeland, the missing and murdered Indigenous women, police brutality. Oh my God. Yeah, I can. The treaties that they are trying to break, just ongoing. The walls, the border, water rights, obviously up in North Dakota.
The pipelines,
the logo, with the chiefs and all that. So it's just a lot.
The terms redskin and all of that.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
And it's so interesting because we dealt with that here in Houston with Lamar High School. Getting the headdress taken off as the logo and the mascot, things of that nature. And for a minute, it took me by surprise because I wasn't aware. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know that, and that's what I explained to her when I first met her. I didn't know certain things offended.
Exactly. And I was like, whoa, that's offensive. I never knew. I was like, Redskin, that's offensive. I never knew that. But now that blackface is all in, I'm like, oh, you know what? That's the same thing as red.
Same thing.
Ding, the light bulb has gone off now.
It's
know
just
what I'm saying?
a norm. It's just a norm. It's just been portrayed. Everyone can run around as cowboys and Indians for so long, and again, it's different generations now.
Absolutely.
You have John Wayne and them doing their little skits, and it's who you rather be, the Indian or the cowboy? Oh, I'm gonna be the cowboy. So I teased them one day. I said, what were you? I was a cowboy. Oh, because you're the cowboy? So you were taking us out? I was like, okay, hold up. Well, I'm gonna ask this question again. So you play Cowboys and Indians. What are you?
Right. Listen, I'm a Dene. I'm Dene now. Right. Absolutely.
You learn real quick.
Real quick. No
Real
doubt.
quick.
No doubt.
See, I didn't know either that Indian. That's not a word that you're supposed
so
to
I
say
did
either.
know that.
Yeah.
I did know that. Both my parents are educators, and so I was privy to a lot of when you start, especially when you start researching like Pan Africanism and stuff like that. You start really getting into things like that, and so I knew that Native is okay. It's still not the preferred term, but you guys accept it. You know what I'm saying? But it's really indigenous persons, and so or your tribal name.
Exactly.
Really just give me my tribal name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
However, it's just it goes to how much people do research about everything.
Yeah.
It's just.
Oh my God! Don't talk to me about research. I'm a college professor, please.
Right. But like people,
what is that? Who does research?
They go straight to what they see in the media.
Yeah.
They just see us as a Native person, they think that we're lazy, we're government handouts, and that we're drunks, and we. Just so much negative, but yet we give so much.
Right.
We go into.
Even if you didn't give so much, historically,
but it took too much.
Given too much.
Yeah,
you've
given
taken too much. Right? Like what? 65, anywhere from 55 to 65% of the land that we're on, right? Outside of Mexico, it being Mexico, in part, was Native American. It was for indigenous people. So let me skip. Let me ask you off the cuff question. How, in general terms, how does the Native American, the indigenous population view Thanksgiving?
I'm a foodie. We like to eat, but that's not really our holiday. Yeah. We just go along with what's going on in America as well, being normal. Hey, we having turkey too, but it's just one of those things. Especially that this holiday really affects the natives on the East Coast. That wasn't a celebration
At all.
And you really read into it, like, oh man, I feel bad eating this turkey, but oh my God, my mother-in-law's cornbread dressing is kind of good right now. But I feel like, again, we're at a day and age where we can bring up that history and try to find a way to respect that and just find a common ground. Okay, we can still eat, but let's always also pay respect to what this really is, and come to like Columbus Day too, where we're like, why?
Yeah, I don't even support Columbus Day after finding out what those were, what it means to the Native population. God no. And then I played a video. I remember maybe my second or third semester teaching, and I played a video. I came across this really powerful video about an interview with like 10 Native Americans, and to see the pain and the tears, and how the question it was one question was asked: when you hear the name Christopher Columbus, what do you think? And like 3 people just immediately, on cue, start weeping, and I was like, whoa. It was so powerful and so moving. And of course I knew that I know the true history behind all of that, and we don't have to get into that, but it just was so powerful and so moving. It was truly an amazing experience to see that, and it just brought it to life. And what else can be brought to life is True Digital. They are sponsoring this episode of the show, this portion of the show. You're online right now. And guess who else is on your line or online? Your customers. The question is, how do you actively reach them? Marketing has to be a consistent journey, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. True Digital Media Consulting can help with website development, online ads, your business reputation, and organic growth on search engines. That SES, baby. Give us a call today to discuss a customized strategy for your business at 832-934-4436, or send an email to info@truedigitalmediaconsulting.com. Mention the Sphere to receive a free 30-minute strategy consultation. So, we're talking here with, oh my gosh, one more time, the last name. Chachere. I keep wanting to say, I have an old student who was Caceres. Okay. It's Spanish, and so that's what I always want to say is Caceres, but it's spelled very similar. Chachere. Okay. So, you mentioned Cowboys and Indians, right? Well, but you had the nerve and the gall and the fearlessness to marry a cowboy.
I know, right? Got roped
Literally.
and tied down.
Got roped and tied down. So how did this happen?
Ooh, Lord.
Jump in, Dennis. Talk to me. How did this happen?
I'm going to let you tell me. You better be right.
Uh-oh.
Man, this happened a long time ago. We was about 13 or 14.
Okay.
And little story about me. I've been roping a calf rope.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
the one that roped the calf, get off and tied up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing that all my life since I was about 6.
Okay.
That's when I
Wow.
roped my
Where
first
you from originally?
I'm from Houston.
From Houston, okay.
I'm from Houston, man.
Absolutely,
She
that's
couldn't
dope.
believe it had cowboys out here.
Oh, it's a
in
lot of
Houston.
black
It's
cowboys. It's a lot of black.
It's
In
a
our
lot.
county, it's a lot of. We're in Fort Bend County, so.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But yeah, I'm the first African American to make it to the junior high national finals.
Black History Month. You hear me? It's
the
alive.
last day.
On the last day. Say it again, Dennis. Say it again, brother. Let the people know who you are.
I'm the first African American to make it to the junior high national finals. And
That's dope.
that was held in Gallup, New Mexico,
Okay.
which is right near the Navajo Nation, and which I didn't know at the time. I was 14 years old.
Right.
I was just going, yeah. And I guess it was a bunch of different people, and I noticed, I was like, that's a little, black girl. And I was the
Yeah.
only person, because all around us is nothing but
Native, yeah. Uh-huh.
So she wanted something to eat, so I bought a Navajo taco, and from then I didn't see her
I'm so
again.
hungry. That sounds good.
After that rodeo, we left, and I didn't see her again until a person that made it to the national finals that I know, they took a picture with her. And I'm like, man, I think I know her. So
Right.
I added her, and then she came back and like, don't I know you? I was like, I believe I've seen you before. Yeah.
The question is, what is in the Navajo taco that made it so memorable of the
Right.
experience?
Oh man.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, that Navajo taco though, man, that was something different for me. That
Yeah.
Navajo taco is made with fried bread, and I still remember it to this day. It's a big flour bread.
Okay.
Sopapilla.
It's different,
It's
like
like
a
a
sopapilla.
sopapilla.
It's like a sopapilla, okay.
And they
Yeah,
put
yeah.
the taco mixing in there. It's still like my favorite thing to eat. I try to get her to make it all the time.
It's a lot of work.
Babe, we're going to Google tonight. Figure out a recipe.
I got you.
I love to cook, so that I have no
absolutely.
problems in the kitchen. For sure. I love to cook
But yeah,
something
that's
new.
that's how I met her. Since we was about 14 years old, then we reconnected.
Yeah.
Got to talking on Facebook, and then
Good old
Out.
Facebook.
went
telling
to
you.
It was the taco.
Yep.
Taco and Facebook.
So, yep. And then I went out to the reservation. I
Okay.
went out there to actually meet her, and most of her family rodeos also. So everything kind of connected.
It was it was an easy. Yeah.
Everything connected for us. Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's really amazing. I tell you that we have a sort of a digital story as well, but it was MySpace.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
It was we had like the virtual situationship.
We really didn't have a virtual situationship, but
I
we
like
will
to
talk about
embellish
that. I
it.
mean,
I
because
like to
it
embellish
was
it.
more of a. I was trying to do my background on him after I met him, so I searched the webs to see if he had any social media, because I wasn't in social media at the time. So I know I searched and I was like, well, what does everyone have? And he had, I looked MySpace, because I didn't have Facebook at the time.
Right.
And I looked at him, he had it, and I searched, and you didn't know I was looking at your profile, and I saw what your profile said, and I left you a message.
Are y'all listening to this? I didn't know she was looking. She searched. She wanted to use the S word called search. It's another word I'm thinking about.
Definitely was doing my research, 'cause at the time, as a single woman, I was told it was very important to do your background
Absolutely.
checks
No, for
on
sure.
people before you try to connect with them. And at that time, I really wanted to know who he was, because we kept bumping into
Yeah,
each
we
other.
did.
Yep.
So I found out what I needed to know.
Yeah.
And here we are, 11 years later.
11 years.
Collar popped. You hear me? Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Hey.
Yo, he's so crazy. He's so crazy.
But no, I love it. That's a great
Thanks,
story.
man.
That's a great story. So you mean to tell me you guys are defying the Hollywood myth that cowboys and Indians can really work?
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah, it can work.
Yeah,
but
no
I'm
doubt.
in charge.
Uh-oh. But I mean, you the
Well.
wife, duh.
Hey.
Happy wife, happy life, brother. Look here.
So
That's
we
easy.
live by-
Yeah, I'm going to go agree with that, because I don't want him to get in trouble. And I don't want to get in trouble either.
Y'all smart.
So,
You want to jump into?
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So give us the time and the location of the conference one more time for everybody that's listening before we jump to the next segment.
Okay, so the time of the conference hasn't really has not set
Okay,
yet.
okay.
But the day is May 10, 11, and 12th at the
Okay.
TBH Center.
Okay. And how can they find out more information?
They can go to the website at indigenouspeoplemovement.com, peoples with the S, and they can follow us on Instagram, Indigenous People Movement, and on Twitter and our Facebook pages. So yeah,
Indigenous People Movement. And then,
all they got to do is just have an IPM, and then boop, it will pop up.
Yeah. I
Literally,
I did it. I typed in Indigenous People's Movement today, and the first link, the exact first link was the website. So I'm excited about that. I cannot wait to attend and to see what's going on. I've already joined the mailing list, so we're excited to stay connected.
Definitely.
Now you want to hit some society
Yeah.
seconds real quick?
Yeah, let's hit
we're
some
gonna
society seconds real
Y'all
quick.
join in for some society seconds. So, okay, a lot of things have been happening in the news lately. A lot of things. Of course, the hot topic for yesterday and kind of spilling over today was Michael Cohen's testimony. And, of course, his testimony was considered to be, oh my God, so scathing. If he called President Trump a con man, a liar, and a racist, amongst other things. He also talked about how Trump was full aware of some of the things he said he has actively denied. Now they're saying there's going to be a part 2 of this testimony. They said that behind closed doors, according to a lot of news outlets that were there, that it was very much a tense situation with the Republican Party, that they're going to have this testimony in 2 or 3 parts, and that they are looking at, depending on if he makes one exaggerated claim, they're looking at opening up a probe for, they're recommending the Department of Justice open up a probe for perjury against him. Now, of course, it would be because of what he's saying, right?
Right.
No one. I honestly don't think this man has the reason to lie. He also said that his 2017 testimony was changed by the then lawyers of President Trump.
Wow.
What he was going to say in front of whenever he was called to testify before. And so it's just interesting how all this is happening now. I mean, it's not, timing is everything, right? I think it is good that it is happening now, because I really want those people to be well informed about who even those who actually voted for the president. You need to be well informed. Although most people were informed, right? We knew who he was. We knew about some of the allegations that came out beforehand. But a lot of people felt like, well, let's give him a try. Let's give him a try.
I roll.
And but it's like what the comedian said. He was like, "Do you go to the mechanic and say, hey, well, just roll the dice on the brakes?" You know what I mean? Like, no, you want the best brakes. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how he's taken a lot of heat for this, and I just think, I think it was kind of bold that he would say what he said. He took a stand, and I kind of felt like I was watching an episode of Scandal or The Blacklist.
Right.
I mean,
I think it's funny because people are saying, he could have lied, and I'm with you, Kira. He has no reason to lie. He actually turns himself in for his 3-year sentence, in May.
Well, they actually said, this is one of the things I said. One of the outlets said that, some of the persons in the Republican Party was saying, we feel like he's doing this for monetary gain afterwards, like as if he's trying to solidify maybe getting a deal,
a book deal or something later.
Yeah, I really.
The fact that he was Trump's lawyer
gives him enough to stand on
and
his own.
he lied. He gonna get George Zimmerman, got offers to do lectures, and what I'm saying, and he's the link between my toes,
right.
Right. Of course, Michael Cohen can get one. That's.
He didn't have to do much.
He didn't have to do much.
And again, he's not out of here, and I don't think he's saying anything that would surprise anyone. I think it's a lot of people, the way, like you say, that the way our country is now, there are people on some side that believe that wholeheartedly what he said was the truth, because we've had our experiences and we see through things. There's some people that are still walking blindly.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they're wrong for walking the way they're walking. They just might choose to see things through rose-colored lenses, and that is because their experiences allow them to not see the privilege is there, right? Okay, and another thing that's going on in the news, kind of related but not really, a group of 16 states have filed lawsuit in North Carolina, the federal courts in North Carolina, against President Trump's declaration of the national emergency. They're saying that it is unconstitutional what he's doing, and that he really doesn't have a leg to stand on. I know you are the poli-sci guy over there. What do you think about the state of the country when you have 16 out of the 50 states saying that what was done was not the way you're supposed to handle it? Because of course we talk about the fact that he kind of went around the system,
Yes.
right? So he went through, and I think this was all planned, right? He went through the 30 days or the month of the shutdown, the government shutdown. You know, they had a reprieve for like 2 weeks, where they had 2 weeks to get it together. Congress came with the deal. He said he didn't like the deal, but he took part of the deal. Right, he took part of the deal, and in addition to taking part of the deal, he also declared national emergency.
Right.
So instead of taking one or the other, he took both because he wants $8 billion, and initially the number was 5.
Right. It was 5.1, I believe. Well, you know, I'm gonna give him a new nickname. I'm gonna give in his loophole Larry. He knows how. Listen, what you have to realize about this brother is he knows how to find the loophole. Remember, he's never paid taxes. Well, not never, but he hasn't paid taxes in 20 some odd years. You know what I'm saying?
Showed him.
You know, exactly. Right. You know, and so, you know, he has made it a business practice to use bankruptcy, you know what I'm saying, to indemnify him to maintain
That doesn't
his
work for a country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so he what I'm saying is he's experienced in finding the loophole. He has hired the best lawyers, right? The best legal team in finding a loophole. And that's just what he did. He felt, y'all not going to give me the money I wanted. Don't worry about it. I've been doing this for 60 years, 50 years, right? You know, business. So I'm going to figure out how to find a loophole. And that's what he's done. It's unfortunate that he's lied and couched immigration as a crisis. Once you start using those words, at that point you can get that kind of secure funding.
I feel like it's kind of problematic, and you all please weigh in on this. I feel it's problematic because immigration is not a crisis because we all are immigrants, right? For most of the people that came to the United States, somewhere in your lineage, you are an immigrant to this country, because we all really don't know how we landed here anyway, right? We just seem to all have popped up, you know.
Exactly.
And
Jamestown wasn't the first place that we got here.
Right, you know,
that was the first
exactly.
recorded place.
And so, you know, it kind of is a slap in the face of the history of the country to say that immigration is an issue when ideally everyone that came was
everybody's
some type
ancestors. Except for hers,
right?
On half of her side, because the other half of her side's ancestors,
right?
Were immigrants.
Yeah,
it is what it is,
and it's just really sad.
And that's another thing that ties into the indigenous peoples movement. It's like, okay, what is this wall supposed to do?
Right.
They're gonna find a way around somehow, some way.
Well,
it don't make no sense at all. Like, we can't. That wall it's just a power trip, and us as indigenous people, you're telling the people, like, okay, the people who lived here for all this time, they can't live here no more. Okay, we can say Houston, Texas. This is indigenous people's land.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, they took them out, but they don't know they're still here. We're still here, and you cannot tell. It's just so hard. It hurts because it's like, the best way I can explain it is like, okay, you went on vacation, you enjoyed yourself, and then there's someone in your own home,
right?
And then these people are telling you can't live here. You can't be here.
Right.
But this is your home.
Right.
Kind of like Goldilocks, except for the Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, but except for, you know, she went through and ate up all their stuff, later than they better, whatever.
Wow.
It seemed like it was a happy ending, though. It seemed.
Yeah, we'll see. Right.
But it's the same thing. It's like, wow, well, how do you feel? And these are human beings.
Yeah.
People are forgetting that these are human beings that are beating the same heartbeats that we're
beating. Absolutely.
And we're treating them this way, or we are looking at them this way. And I say we can feel that more because of who we are.
You know, absolutely. And I think that's the part where we have to have this united conversation in what's going on with your movement, as well as, even like you said, Kaylin said, you know, we sometimes hijack the conversation, but it's only because I feel like we as African American persons, we seem like we feel the most of it, because we can see, you know, we can see the racism, I guess, more dealing with it from a physical standpoint, but it doesn't necessarily mean that other people cannot.
Absolutely.
Right? Our brothers and sisters, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, our Native American brothers and sisters, it doesn't mean that they can't. It's just that it's different.
I'm by no means
I know you
trying
weren't.
to denigrate our experience.
Oh, no.
African-Americans, black folks in this country.
No.
God, no.
No, I know that's not what you're doing. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that we also have to find a way to communicate with one another.
Agreed.
So if we show alliance with one another, then we're stronger together than we are individually. Absolutely.
Hence the indigenous people's movement,
Here we
right?
go.
That's what the movement's
This is what we're
for.
trying to do.
Another thing that's happening in the world is something interesting, and I shared this with Kaylin last week, and I don't think a lot of people, it didn't get a lot of press, but it's a conversation. So in New York, they have the youngest congresswoman is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and she made a bold move. Amazon was supposed to bring in headquarters to New York City. It was supposed to be headquartered in New York, in Queens, the borough in Queens, and she decided to shut it down. Decided that it was not going to be a good move because she felt like that it wasn't going to be helpful to those that are there, although it was promising jobs for those persons. She said that a part of the deal would have been tax breaks to the tune of $2.5 billion in tax breaks. And she said she didn't think it was fair to give Amazon those type of breaks. And I'm like, well, they're bringing jobs to the city.
Yeah. Another thing she said when I was digging into it was that, they were going to displace community members out of their homes, potentially businesses, according to what she was,
the way she was looking at it.
The way she was looking at Amazon refuted and denies it. No. We found land
that
nobody
was
going to live on.
It was land that was cleared. Yeah. Uninhabited.
So, AOC, she, Ocasio-Cortez, she got ramrodded for. A lot of people were really, really upset about it.
So much so that they took out a billboard in Times Square, and was pretty much saying this is the problem with people like her. Because they don't see the big picture. She's looking at it from, consider her, it was a democratic socialist.
Yeah.
And it was like she hates capitalism so much so that she would deny people an opportunity for jobs just to prove a point about not getting tax breaks and not allowing, because it was some of this funding was going to be capital grants. She hates that part of it so much.
Capital grants, yeah. And then another,
deeper.
Yeah, another part of it, there hadn't been anything set in stone from Amazon saying that they were going to hire locals. So that was a big deal as well. She was like, they could hire people from Seattle, from Washington, they could fly people in from London. Like, who knows?
But that's any job, though.
Well, it is, but it doesn't guarantee that the money is going to go back into the community. And so that's a valid concern. But no business actually says I'm going to hire. Like,
well,
they just don't do that.
And I just talked about this in my class this past week. We talked about employment and some of the issues with employment and employment discrimination, and this would fall under a form of employment discrimination if the hiring practice was legally valid, but somehow under some protected group or protected class it discriminated against them, then that's a problem. So if they could find a way to say that when Amazon was hiring, somehow they discriminated against certain people in New York City that were of a certain education level and they just so happen to be fitted under a particular class, and yes, that would be a form of discrimination that she would have a foot to stand on, but she couldn't block on that end. Because most companies and organizations, when they open up a new headquarters, they do try to get the best and the brightest from wherever they are, whoever it's applying. It's any job. That's any job.
That's the bottom line.
But proximity matters, though. When you really think about proximity matters. So yes, they might have hired from outside, but the opportunity would have been better for those who lived in the city as well, because with the headquarters also came warehouses. You see what I'm saying?
The real estate market is going to boom because people have to move to New York, to Queens.
That brings more money in. So it's a lot of ways to look at it. I mean, I'm sure she looked at it, but it was a lot of other ways to look at it as well. So it's just.
But listen, she is
powerful. Because we wanted that bid. Houston wanted that bid.
Yeah, we really did want that bid. That would have been dope. That would have been dope. Had Amazon come here.
There's a lot of people that need that job. There's a lot of people that need that job. But okay, so that was one, I think, a really great hot topic that was going on. What else was a hot topic that was going on, Kaylin, that we kind of...
I think... Go ahead.
The Oscars.
And
Spike Lee and all the beautiful people. What happened?
We had 15 nominees. 15 black nominees, and 7 won. So so this was the largest in terms of the amount of people that won during one show. I think it was so funny. A lot of our colleagues in the media were saying that Black History Month was saved because prior to all you heard about was Jussie Smollett, and R. Kelly, and it's like all but Oscars saved. The Oscars, they really, really saved Black History Month. So, but I think it's always good. To really highlight persons of color who are doing phenomenal things in Hollywood, because art drives so much of who we are, because art imitates life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you just talking about with the John Wayne movies and the 50, the 40s through the 60s. It always depicted Native Americans as the savages.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so we then get that put in our head, and maybe not necessarily savages, but as lower class, and so then we're disconnected from terms like red skin, or we're disconnected from, you know what I'm saying? And so it becomes a cycle.
And really, I'm sorry, you really just hit something. Just from the Hollywood perspective, and we could talk about this all day, how Hollywood has programmed us to look at all classes of persons that happen to not be in the majority.
They happen to not be white.
They happen not to be white. You know, you saw, I mean, we even see how they won awards for a long time. If you were a person of color, you had to play a negative role to win an Oscar, or to win a, you know what I mean? Denzel, Halle Berry had to play, you know, pretty much.
Jadakiss said it right. Jadakiss said he said Denzel had to be crooked before he took it. You know what I'm saying? Halle had to get an Oscar. The white man had to pop her.
You know, like we, you know, it goes to that, like you just mentioned, that Native American thing. Like I didn't even think about it from that perspective of, it was always painted a certain way, a picture of savages or people, or I never thought of Native Americans as uneducated, but I always thought that it was interesting how we only saw them one way, as if there was no involvement in the community, if there was no involvement within the culture, as if they were purposely separated from society. Isn't it interesting?
They did that on purpose.
Absolutely.
And that's what this topic is why I started my beauty line. Yeah. Because how long do we have to wait for us to be recognized and represented in the beauty industry, period? I'm doing this for our future daughters to one day look in a magazine and see herself, or see another woman from a different tribe. There's not one Native American woman headlining in the beauty industry, in the fashion industry yet. You see all our prints everywhere.
Absolutely correct.
Our turquoise everywhere. It's Rodeo Houston time. Okay, like they're selling fake turquoise.
Of course they are. Where they gonna find it at? Where they gonna find it?
You know, they have these. They are everything that we have. They're just using, and guess what? We don't get nothing from it.
Well, that's how I feel about braids and cornrows.
Exactly.
And they call them boxer braids now. I mean, when did we call? Okay, I'm just, that's it.
We can go on and
we can go on and on.
Because we're indigenous
people.
Exactly.
We're indigenous people,
We
so we're
are
creators.
indigenous people. And that's how we need to come together.
And I gotta say this. I gotta say this last thing, and it's interesting. We could talk about this all day. It's interesting how when we wear our things that that help us identify with our culture and our experiences, we're too real, or it becomes uncomfortable, right? It's a very uncomfortable situation. But if someone else displays it, it's beautiful. It's art. It's class. It's interesting. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I'm glad you said that we are indigenous people, because a lot of people looking in probably don't know. You know, this conference is for for everybody. You know, you are indigenous. You know, I didn't know until she started talking about it where I was from. Yeah, I started digging into my, into my roots, And I came to find out that I'm from the Beni Togo, in Africa.
Right, exactly.
I didn't know that until I started, digging into it.
Absolutely,
deeper,
absolutely. It's important to really figure out your history and your culture, because I think it's important that we all need to know where we come from, for sure. I think another hot topic that was really, really cool was recently, we saw this, and we talked about it briefly on the way in, was that the young lady who got the scholarship.
Oh yes. Okay. So I think this is amazing.
This is cool.
It's amazing. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, defies all of the stereotypes you would think. Okay, so a young African American woman has just signed her college papers to be the first female to play football in school.
In college.
In college. Okay, yeah, and I looked at it, I was like, does not, in my mind, you always think like a woman plays football, she would have to be very strong,
big
burly woman. No, not at all. But it's going against everything we were taught about what women can do and what men can do. I mean, we've seen this transition before some years ago when we started the WNBA, and we always had, we not always, but when we had women playing college basketball, it was okay. When we opened the WNBA, it was almost kind of like it was kind of slight. It was a slight. I hope that with her entering in such a sport, an aggressive sport at that they give her the same protections and care, not just because she's a woman, but because she's an athlete.
It's very interesting to me, because I remember in UIL, University Interscholastic League here, University Interscholastic League here in Texas, which is the athletic commission that manages grade school athletics from kinder to 12th grade, from 1st grade to 12th grade. In 1993, 94 is the first year that they allowed girls to play football. Right,
Okay.
1994. It was my 8th grade year. That's what I remember. And so, and we were like, "Whoa, wait a minute, okay." And so, my only concern is for her safety.
Safety.
That's the
it.
only concern
That's
I
my
have.
concern.
It's safety.
You
Because
should have that for everybody.
Huh?
You should have that for
And you
Not
should
for everybody, but
no,
I'm saying
you
I
have-
hope that they
I agree with you,
They
Dennis.
remember
No.
that.
I totally, 100%.
They treat guys
I got buddies. I
got a bunch of
I got buddies that
too.
play the league, play the football, and they are scared to death of CTS.
Yep,
Was that what it's called?
that head
CTS.
injury.
Yeah.
They don't talk about that.
They don't
enough,
talk about
yeah.
it enough.
You know,
Exactly. I got
that
3
is-
good
that's
friends
what
that are like,
so-
listen, every year, I'm praying when I go to my
Yeah.
CAT scan. But again, I don't want. It's already a rough and aggressive sport. I just don't want her to become a target
Yep, there you go.
by some
almost
jerk.
like an example.
By
Yeah.
some a-hole dude trying to make an example.
There you
You know
go.
what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
relax, man, because you got cats that are really out there. So that's my fear. I'm proud. I love it. If she's athletically gifted enough to go out there and compete with the fellas, man, do your thing,
Yeah,
sister.
yeah, do it.
You know what I mean? Like, really have a good time.
I love
Eh,
it.
Yeah, I do too.
I wish I did that because my dad, he played football. So I watch the game differently. I watch it, from a player's. My dad played wide receiver, so I
Nice.
watched it. I watched every single route. So to see this, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
She had the guts to do it. I didn't.
Right.
My dad's like, no, you're gonna play this, but I can. I commend her. Like, go
Yeah,
for it.
that's really big.
That's
I just don't want the sister to become a target. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know if she's an athlete, she don't want special treatment either. She don't want special treatment either. So it is what it is.
I'm glad she made it that far though. She made it that far. I think she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she does. She does know what she's doing. And I'm glad that Paul knew what he was doing
Yes, sir.
and giving me a call to get y'all on this show.
Yes, sir.
But before we end, I want to talk to you guys about Lady Irie Natural Hair Care. Do you have kinky, curl, or a curly style in mind? Lady Irie Natural Hair Care has been a prime destination for catering to naturally kinky hair in Houston, Texas, and beyond for over 5 years. Clients come from all over the world to receive the ultimate experience for their natural hair care needs. Lady Irie Natural Hair Care has been featured on media outlets including Young Black Professionals Magazine, GMT Internet Radio, The Sphere, and more. Your unique vision can be brought to life and complete with helpful tips for maintaining your hair. You'll walk into the salon with the warmest greetings, complimentary refreshments, and knowledgeable stylists that promote total beauty from the inside and out. Our goal is to unveil your kinks one curl at a time. Give the experts a call today at 832-265-3792 or book online at ladyirie.com.
Amazing.
What a great show.
This has been a great show. We are so
Yes,
glad you
sir.
all could make time to spend with us today.
Yes, let everybody know how they can follow you, get in contact with you, learn more about the conference one more time.
Definitely. You guys can follow us on Instagram at Indigenous Peoples Movement. And then you guys can go online. You can Google us quickly, IPM, and www.indigenouspeoplesmovement.com. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow me at Asha Beauty.
Asha Beauty, I
Yes.
love it. I love.
All
We gotta
right
get you. We
now.
gotta get you back on my other show talking about
Yes.
that for sure. And I'm Kayla Loss, aka Senor Wapo. You can do me a favor and type in SENORGUAPO713. Holla at your boy.
I just, it's hard to follow up with that. I don't know, but you can follow me on Instagram, not the Twitter or with the Snappy Chatty,
Snappy Chatty.
but Instagram at the Modern Day Cindy. That's Cindy with an I, not a Y.
We'll see you next time.
See you next one.
All right.